Welcome back, troops. Let's tab 59. So are the UK police fit enough for frontline duties? That's the coppers I'm talking about, the ones that are actually on the front line, the guys and girls that are patrolling the towns and cities on a Saturday night when all the drunks are coming out of nightclubs and kicking off outside the kebab shop. Are they fit enough to deal with that? The coppers that are on the front line on public order duties, whether it's Free Palestine or whatever's going on, are they fit enough for their role? I believe that they're lacking. And I'll tell you why. The entry level fitness, if you join the old bill, you do a 15-metre track bleep test. And I think the pass rate is something like 3.7. You'd have to look it up, but it's not hard. Let me tell you, it's not hard. That's the only fitness testing that they get during their police foundation training, whether you want basic training, whatever you want to call it. It's all they have to do. Up until 2016, the police used to have to do upper body training, strength tests, pull-ups, etc., and push-ups, I believe, as well. But in 2016, that was withdrawn. Why? Why was that withdrawn? Surely that should be part of their basic fitness training when they join the police. They've got to be strong enough, upper body, to climb walls, to tackle with people. It's been withdrawn. So all they do is that bleep test. In a gymnasium on a field, 15-metre track, running up and down with the bleeps. You've all seen it, the army do it as well. The bleep test. It's not difficult. It's a very basic level of fitness. But after they finish their training, and they're with their police unit, a station, whatever you want to call it, that's all they have to do yearly. That's their fitness for role training, testing, once a year, annually, a bleep test. And that's it. Is that enough to tackle drunks, to tackle young lads that have been joyriding in cars, jumping out and running off on their toes in their high-tech training shoes and a hoodie round a council estate? Is that enough to grapple on public order with? I don't believe it is. Because the other thing that got taken away from the police was the height restriction. And of course now as well, there's a lot of pressure on coppers. Any coppers or ex-coppers watching this, I feel for you. There's a lot of pressure these days, more so than before. Because now, whenever there's an incident in town, it's Saturday night, like I say, outside a kebab shop, or someone running through the town that's nicked something, or public order problems, as soon as something kicks off with the old bill and wrong-uns, people have got their phones out and they're videoing it. Within 20 minutes on TikTok or it's on YouTube. And so the pressure of what those young coppers, they know when they're dealing with an arrest or a chase or whatever, that people are filming them and everything's being recorded and it's going to be put online. And it's quite embarrassing. I've looked at a lot of footage like that. And some of it, you just see that the old bill just aren't fit enough to deal with it. Now, I'm not saying all coppers, obviously. I'm not saying that. But there is a lot of it. It's got to be down to how they're trained and tested and for their fitness. If I was a copper, and I'm not, but if I was a young copper joining up and I knew I was going to be frontline policing for the first 2 years or whatever, on the streets, especially in cities and towns, I'd want to be fit. I'd want to be able to handle myself for the job. And if you were two of you going out, you'd want to go out on patrol, foot patrol, car patrol, wherever it is. You want to know that person next to you is also fit. And when you look at some of these police officers, and this is no disrespect, I'm not being derogatory here. I don't mean to come across that way. But you see these quite short and sometimes quite rotund police officers. And on top of that, they're bogged down with a stab vest, with an assault vest on. They've got an assault vest, I don't know what you call it. They're wearing a vest over the top of their body armour or their stab vest with radios, tasers, batons, handcuffs, and all the rest of it, pepper sprays or whatever you call it. They're carrying all this kit. But when they train for their fitness, they don't do it in that kit. I mean, at least do the bleep test wearing all the kit. Because it's like the army. It's no good the army training and testing themselves in a pair of high-tech running shoes and a pair of shorts. Because when the reality comes, when that soldier goes into combat, he's going to be having to perform, or she, going to have to perform their job wearing all that kit for the army, body armour, helmet, weapon system, radios, a patrol pack, webbing, water, ammunition. They're carrying all that kit. And you've seen footage back in the Afghanistan war and the Iraq war. There's the soldiers running around with all that kit on, chasing the Taliban or whatever, and they're wearing pyjamas and carrying an AK-47. So you've got to be fit with the kit that you operate with. But the police don't do that. Why? If running up and down a 15-metre track to a bleep test and scoring 3.7 is an annual test and that's it, in shorts and a pair of trainers, or a pair of trousers and a pair of trainers, how is that getting you fit? How is that testing your fitness for your role? That's what I'm driving at. So why don't they at least say, right, you've got to have some upper body strength, because you've got to chase some little crackhead through a council estate, jumping over walls and fences. So why don't they at least get them to do the bleep test wearing their kit? When they do that 15-metre track, I mean, it's beyond me. I can't understand why they don't do that. Why aren't they doing upper body training? Now, when it gets to grappling with the wrong uns, when a copper is trying to arrest, gets into a grapple with them, martial arts and all this, I know the police get trained in holds and arm locks and things like that. But when you watch footage of that actually happening, when you see coppers, 9 times out of 10, it gets a bit physical, and you end up on the ground. The copper trying to make the arrest, and the little oik are rolling around on the ground. You can do as much kung fu jap slapping as you like. But that's not how it works. In reality, you won't have time to do that. You're going to be rolling around on the floor. The person you're rolling around on the floor with is wearing a pair of high-tech trainers and a hoodie, and you're bogged down with stab vest and all the rest of it. So I believe the police should have more training. Now, I understand that many police stations don't have gyms in them, fitness places for officers to train. And I know that the police, they do long shifts. You're doing 6 days, 12-hour shifts, and getting that, you can't really, it's difficult to do training in your own time. They're under a lot of pressure, the police, at the moment. They've got recruiting problems too. Just not enough police on the ground. So a lot of them are doing overtime. They've got that home work-life balance to sort out. It's very difficult. And then to go on a 12-hour shift, you've got to take over from that other person and go straight out and do your job after a quick briefing of what's going on. So to take time out of that 12-hour shift to train in police time is going to be difficult. So how do they get over that? I don't know. But something's got to happen. There needs to be more facilities for the police to be trained in at their police station where they haven't got travel. And also, maybe you need more gymnasiums being set up in police stations. When they build a new police station, maybe that's what they do. Maybe they do have a fitness room, a gym, where officers can train. But like I say, if you've just done a 12-hour shift, you've been on the streets for 12 hours, you just want to get home and get something to eat and rest and put your feet up. And you've got 6 days of that. It's going to be tough to get that fitness training. So I appreciate that. I get somehow that balance has got to be sorted out. Police officers need to have more support to do fitness training. It's a difficult one, but I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on it. The height restriction thing, well, why did they take that away? Because you do see some, again, I'm not being derogatory about people being small, but And some small people can be handy, don't get me wrong. Wiry little people, I get that. But that must be quite intimidating. If you're going out on patrol, you're reasonably fit, you're going out on your foot patrol with the police, and your partner is about 5 foot and a fag paper, and big and round and fat, carrying all this kit, and it kicks off. You're going to be the one, the fit one, that has to deal with it all. And your partner, being a little short person that's round and tubby, they're not going to be a lot of help to you, are they? So I think maybe the height restriction should come back. I'm guessing they removed the height restriction because of recruiting. Maybe by removing the height restriction, the police were able to recruit more people, and they're struggling with recruiting, as the military are too. So maybe that's a reason that the height restriction was removed. But you do see some very small police officers, and it's just a worry, you know. Like I say, you're going out on patrol in some of these hard inner city areas. I mean, the military, we train and train, we've got plenty of time. We're not under the same pressures as police officers. And we've got all the fitness facilities to train in. And a lot of soldiers train in their own time. So I get that. But the police just don't have that option, do they? They're not able to do that. I think also that gym membership for police officers, if there's nowhere for them to train on site at their police station, then maybe they should be given free gym membership and encouraged that way. I don't know if that happens, because the thing is with the UK police, from what I've looked at, again, I'm no expert on the police, but from what I've just looked at, each police force is a county force. So you've got Wiltshire, Kent, etc., etc. And they all seem to have their own standards to do things and their own sort of fitness regimes or whatever. So it must vary from force to force what you get. Some counties may have really good facilities. Let me know if anyone's watching. If you're an ex-policeman, or you're a serving police officer, let me know. I'd be interested to hear more about it. I think you do a tough job. And it looks to me like you're not getting a lot of support. And of course, then the public are quick to jump on. And when they see these TikTok videos of coppers struggling on the floor and young'uns getting away, people are quick to jump on there and put derogatory comments about the state of our police force. But I think a lot of people don't understand the pressures that police officers are under these days. I think it must be hard. You're scrutinised a lot more than before the internet, if you like, before people were all carrying cameras. Everything you do now is scrutinised. So let me know. I'd be interested to hear, especially from serving officers and ex-serving police officers. I think in other countries that the fitness standards are higher than the UK police. I don't think we've got a very good level of fitness standards in this country for our police. I think some of the American forces and Australia, for instance, I think they have quite a strict fitness regime for their police officers. But it's got to be something, like I say, it's getting that balance, getting that time to actually allow the officers to train. It's not the officer's fault necessarily. Yeah, if you're a single copper, you haven't got family commitments, you're going to have time to, after work, to go to a gym or go out for runs or whatever and train. But if you're a family man or family woman and you come off your 12-hour shift, that's a tough thing to sort out. So, a little bit about what I think about the UK police force, their fitness levels and their standards. I think, in summary, that our police force aren't fit enough. They're not training right, and maybe they haven't got the opportunities to train right. It's not necessarily the individual officer's fault. Maybe it's up the chain of command a bit. Maybe it's them. They're getting the higher wages. It's the higher ranking police officers that need to sort it out. Not necessarily Bobby on the street. Let me know what you think. I'll be interested. Anyway, cracking day. Bit cold, can't feel my fingers. Tab on, cup of tea. If you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed, especially if you're a police officer or ex-police officer, please consider it. I'm not saying do it. I'm saying consider it. Till next time, troops, stay safe. Thanks, police, for what you do. Till next time, let's tab.